Dearest listeners, book babes and book bros, I'm Tanya, your host from Witlit Women, and I have two special guests for you today. The first is Morgan, my co-host.
Hello, happy to be here again.
Yes, thank you so much for co-hosting with me again this week. I appreciate it. And then I have CJ Holmes. CJ, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, so I'm CJ Holmes. I am an author of paranormal and fantasy romance, and I have been publishing indie up to now. But then next year, my first trad pub book will be coming out, and that's the first book in a four-book series. I know, I'm so
Congrats,
stoked.
that's
That is amazing.
amazing. Oh
I
Congratulations.
know.
my gosh.
Oh, okay. We're gonna talk about that here later, though. We will bring that back up, but we're gonna hop into the 5 minute AMA really quickly. So, CJ, Morgan, are you all ready to babble?
Yes,
Let's
Queen.
go.
All right, I will put 5 minutes on the clock.
Okay, so CJ, how
Mm.
did you know that you wanted to write this particular genre?
I think, how did I know? I think it's because it's my favorite genre to read mostly.
Hmm.
I grew up reading Greek and Roman myths. I grew up reading fantasy novels, so very much was sort of brought up on Ursula Le Guin and the Earthsea trilogy. And moved into those, and like Ursula Le Guin is just beautiful. Anyone who hasn't read her books should read her books. They are stunning. And then with that, in my teenage years, I very much was. You can hear by my accent, I'm British. We're raised on a kind of cult of Douglas Adams and Terry Pratchett, which is not really romance fantasy, but it's still in the fantasy genre, and they very much play on romance themes in their books, although it's not the main arc. And so, because it's the genre that I love reading the most, and because it's the genre that I sort of fell naturally into, it became the genre that I write, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Absolutely. I love that actually, because you can get inspiration from so many things, but
Hmm.
sometimes just like one or more feels comfortable. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what is the most unexpected reader feedback that you've received about your books?
Oh, we do get some weird, I don't know if this is just unique to romance authors because I haven't spoken to other genre authors as often, but I think romance authors do get some slightly odd feedback at times. So the kind of so some of my books are open door and they are pretty up there on the spice level. So some of the feedback is kind of like, yeah, that it great guys. I probably didn't need to know that about your like what my book did for you, but thank you so much. Yeah, great. um, you know,
I love
You're inspiring
that.
masses, CJ.
Yeah, apparently.
exactly. I mean, New King Kong Lot, thank you so much. Yeah, also good. Moving on. I
But
think
did you
some,
like the story? Can we?
yeah, exactly. Do you like the start of the writing and the poetic metaphors that I put in there to try and elevate this writing? No, no, we like the kings. Okay, good. The you're going to laugh the whole way through this. The flip side of that, I think, being and I think this is something that a lot of women in public life experience, is the sort of the negativity that comes around that, the kind of the what I think is referred to in the genre as slut shaming. That it's not acceptable to write this kind of writing, that it's somehow poor quality or it's a lesser genre compared to other genres. And there are certain individuals who are somewhat aggressive, and I have had some
Mm,
unfortunate experiences in my DMs. But it, it, I wouldn't want it to happen to other individuals. That it happened to me is unfortunate, and I think I'm probably robust enough to have handled it at the time. Would I want it on a permanent basis? Absolutely not. Um,
mhm.
so there's sort of good things and bad things about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, you do have to kind of, if you're going to write some very, very spicy at times open door books, then you do kind of run that risk of some interesting feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, it still doesn't like excuse
No,
people reaching out to you and being like aggressive with you or
right.
anything. But so sorry that you've had that experience.
Well, and I think, like, as I said, I'm sure it's not just me, and I think other authors
Hmm.
get it, and it probably does go across the genres in other ways as well. Um,
Sadly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for fueling the kink world, CJ. So
just
um
wait till my DMs blow up after.
oh God. Send them my way. Let me at them. Let me at
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
we'll back you the whole time. I promise.
Yes. I don't know if we
Just
have
not
time
ready.
for another question, but which character do
Oh,
you
I mean, if
personally
you want to
connect
go.
and identify with the most?
So I think that is a character called Willow, who is the female main character in the third book that went to City Owl Press that
Very
hasn't
nice.
come out yet.
Very nice.
Well, that was awesome. You got that in right at the timer. So
Yeah.
I love that. So
Like we have this game. Do you have Mastermind in the US where it's like I've started, so I'm going to finish, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to sneak
Yeah.
out.
I love that. All right, so the 5 minute round is over. It'll be posted on Instagram, and then the full episode will be posted on things like YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, that kind of thing. But we're going to continue chatting. So I promised I would bring this back up. CJ, you mentioned you had moved from indie to traditional publishing. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Mhm.
Kind of like how did that happen? What was the process behind all of that?
Yeah, so I mean, I would still count myself as a hybrid author in that I still intend to publish indie as well as do some trad publishing.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, really, the first book that I wrote was sort of just to prove to myself that I could write a book, in that, I'd always wanted to, and I guess the same as a lot of other people, you're never quite sure that you can actually get to the end. And it turned out
Hmm.
that I couldn't just get to the end of that book, but I could get to the end of a trilogy. And
Yeah.
so I was kind of like, yeah, like, and I didn't really know very much about it, didn't know what to do, and was like, okay, let's just publish this and just see what happens with it, see how it's received. And I think, it's done pretty well on
Yeah.
Amazon. Amazon have a free platform. A lot of other people do as well, but I just went with that because for me, that was the easiest and most available route.
Hmm.
And then I think it's sort of, I very much got into a writing group actually. And we were reading each other's books and editing on them. And one of the other authors in the group was like, you got to stick your neck out now, love. Like, this is your first book. It's good. You got to put some skin in the game now. So, really write, really try to write like the best book that you can write, like really, expose yourself in this. And then, I will help you edit it. I will help you craft it. I will be your crypt partner on this. And then we'll shape it. And then we'll decide what you want to do with that book. But, you need to push yourself now because the first book was good. The first series was good. You can learn this and you can do this. And so we sat down and I wrote this book and I was like, well, it's great. And I don't know what to do with it. And he's like, well, why don't you try querying this? You've got nothing to lose. You may as well just query on it and approach some indie publishing houses and give it a go and see what they think. And if you believe in this book, you love this book, I love this book, and if they don't pick it up, then we'll just you can self-publish it anyway.
Yeah.
And so I approached City Owl Press and T Tate was very keen to pick it up. And I know, particularly excited working with T actually, because she
Yeah.
edited the Witch Collector series.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
I know. And so yeah, so it just kind of went from there. And she was like, we want 4 books out of you. And I was like, okay, 4 books. Oh, okay. Like keep poker face in meeting. Yep, can do that. Totally do that. Totally up for that. Sign the contract. And and like off I kind of went. And I'm hoping that I haven't just lost you in the feed. No, I haven't. Yeah, sorry, being in England, sometimes our internet is not that great. And yeah, so it's, you know, it's been a great experience for me working with them. They've been a really great house to work with so far. They've been really supportive. And like we're just in the process of we're going to start editing the first book this year, going through the developmental edits all over again, going through the line and copy edits all over again, and then it'll be ready to come out next year, she says.
That is
So
insane.
exciting. Yes.
I know, I know.
Oh
And
my
I guess that's what
Oh,
you want. Like, you know, you start something and it's a bit of an adventure and it's new and you just want to learn new stuff, right? And I'm like, okay, well, this is great, you know, and if it works out, then it works out. But I'll have learned something and, you know, I'll have grown a bit.
right.
And if I decide to carry on down that route, then that's great. And if I decide that that route isn't for me, well, you know, I'm boxed in for the 4 books because that's my contract. But actually, I've still got all that skill and that information and that knowledge, and I can take it back to doing the thing I love, which is indie publishing.
yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
So
Very nice.
did you have 4 books planned out, or they were just like, hey, we love this so much, let's make it 4?
yeah, so no, I had submitted, so they're myth retellings. So they're like
Mhm.
retelling on kind of Greek myths that you may or may not know. And so the first one I submitted, and I was like, you know, this, as you often do, you say this is a standalone novel, but it can be turned into a series. And they were like, yeah, we want the series.
That's
Wow.
And you're like,
amazing.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I will be first in line. Let me add that one. I
Right?
love
Yes.
mythical,
Amazing. That's 1 book sold.
like
Like, yeah, 2 books sold.
It's two.
mythological retellings. That's my jam. Give it to me. Give it to
Yeah,
me. I will take it.
Hmm.
Yes.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm
Congratulations.
so excited about it. And like, I'm so excited, as I said, to work with, you know, to learn new stuff as well. That's always, I think, for me, it's part of my journey is I want to be trying new stuff. I want to be learning new stuff. I want to be, you know, picking up techniques from other genres and things. I think Pratchett actually was the guy who said that, you know, if you write one genre, you've probably read enough of that genre. You need to start reading the other genres. You
Mhm.
know, like if you write fantasy, you've read enough fantasy, start reading cowboys books and, like, you know,
Yeah,
horrors and thrillers and romance, because they're going to be other styles and other techniques in those books that you learn that you then incorporate into your writing, and that will make you a better author. And like, I'm really
absolutely.
excited to be doing this because I feel like it's, you know, even if it turns out it's not for me, well, I'll have had the experience and I'll hopefully have learned some stuff that will make me a better writer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's incredible. We're so excited for you.
Yes. And that's such a good outlook to have too. Like,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't work out to be something that you like, you're getting so much experience. Like, that's
Yes.
the perfect mindset to have going into anything that you're doing. I
Hmm.
Yeah.
love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool.
Well, CJ, we are almost at time. Is there anything that you wanted to say? Anything you wanted to address with your readers or
Oh my God.
yeah.
No, I mean, like, you know, no, she says. I mean, I'm just happy to just keep writing and just, yeah, like, it's always lovely, actually, to just the excitement around publishing a new book. I think I'm quite a speedy writer compared to, some other authors, so I publish on a fairly regular basis, and just the excitement that gets built around each book release is just, it's just a joy to be part of. Like, it's just, you know, it's just wonderful, really, when people are just so excited and enthusiastic about your work, and they just reach out to you, and they're like, oh, you know, I mean, not all the reaching out, as we discussed earlier, but you know.
Some we could do without.
Yeah. But you know, generally, like, as you know, most of my experience has been immensely positive, and I just, you know, I really love that. Like, for me, reading, and it's a joy. It's, you know, it's something that should bring us pleasure and should make our lives better. And you know, if I
Yes.
can be a part of that, and to hear that I am a part of that in some way, shape, or form, is just
Yeah,
Yes.
for
if
Oh,
upper
sure.
lip quivering a little bit, you know.
Yeah. I actually run a romanticy book club on Instagram, and I'm going to be recommending one of your books for not June because we're reading Fearless, but for July. No, wait. but no, May we're reading Fearless. My bad. I thought it was May. So in June, when we do our votes, I'm gonna make sure at least one of your books is on there because this is so exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, thank you. And like if you need anything from me, just reach out because, like as some of them are a little bit on the darker side with trigger warnings and stuff. And
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's our favorite kind, though.
Yeah,
yeah.
we love a book with a menu.
Like yeah, I mean the trigger warnings, some of them are quite long in that like, they go and I was like, oh, I'm writing this now. Never thought that would happen.
Yeah,
And
I
within a
mean, just
year
like
of
give us
starting as
that
well,
shopping list. Let's go.
Yup,
Yeah.
yup.
But when you're like, should I put that on the trigger list? Well, yeah, let's put that one on the trigger
Right?
list
Might as
too.
well.
Why not?
Why not?
Like,
Let's
let's
one
just yeah.
That's so
And that's the great thing about dark romance, right? It pushes all these limits and explores all these ideas,
Yes.
and whether you like it or not, it at least makes you think about it and question it. And then but you're just kind of like, as a writer, it's a joy to write actually, because like in romantasy there are certain things that the main character just cannot do. The hero cannot do those
Yes.
kind of things to get out of
Yeah.
those situations. And
Nope.
then in like dark romance you're like, wow, the rules are just, they've gone out the window.
They're gone. There are
They're
no rules
gone.
in dark romance.
So we're in a corner. How are we going to fix this? Right then, he's just going to handcuff her to the bed, and off we like. You're like, oh.
Yes.
Fun fact, we're also in a dark romance book club. So listen, we're
We
gonna
are,
double dip.
yes.
Morgan and I are gonna like throw out everything that you have into these.
Literally every
Yeah.
month moving forward, I'm just gonna be putting a CJ book in there.
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh.
I
As I
love
said, they're meant to be fun, and like reading should be fun, and this is what it should be about, right? It should be about having conversations and reading books that make you laugh and make you like meeting people that make you laugh and having these kind of conversations. So it's an absolute joy to be part of it. And thank you.
Well, you have been an absolute joy to talk to today.
Yes.
So we'll wrap up now, but I really hope that we get to talk to you again in the future, CJ.
Oh my God, absolutely. If you like, definitely happy to come back.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay, well, we'll get something on the books again,
Yeah.
maybe a little closer to when your book is coming out.
Ooh,
That way,
exciting.
you get some marketing and publicity out of it.
Oh God, the marketing.
So that's a yes.
That's a yes, I'll do it. Like I might need a few glasses of wine before I do it. But yeah.
That's okay. Listen, that's totally normal. No big deal.
We're here to support you.
What can possibly go wrong?
I honestly feel like it might be even like we've laughed this entire time, but if you have those glasses of wine, might laugh a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Our listeners might not even be able to understand what we're saying because we're laughing so much.
But it's fine.
But it's fine.
We're having fun.
Yes. It's fine.
This is what you'll get out of this book.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, CJ, I've had so much fun with you today. We'll go ahead and wrap up now, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.